Hi guys, Retro Gamer here. I'm going to show you how to change the battery on your Neo Geo X. First of all, what you're going to need: a soldering iron, some tape, a screwdriver, a small like a #1. A lot of times eyeglass kit's going to have that. Tweezers, a little pry bar of some sort, and obviously the battery. So first of all, what we're going to do is take out this screw, this screw, this screw, and this screw. Let's get that SD card out if you haven't already before that. Well, now that we got those 4 screws out, what we're going to do is want to take the tape and we're going to cover up these switches. It's going to hold them in place. Let's get to make sure it's on the front side. Once we got them taped, we're going to remove the remaining screws. There's going to be 1 on the top here and 3 on the bottom. So let's get them out. So now that you have those additional 4 screws out, let's go ahead and pop off the back. That slate, really careful. There are some tabs here that could break. Now mine, this is how I got it. There was no battery in it. So I took the measurements and we have a guy we buy plenty of batteries from, so they're good. And we gave him the measurements and for the battery to go in here. Now, noticing once I got it, it is just a hair oversized, but it fits just fine. It's thin enough, and it is just a hair oversized. So anyways, what we're going to do, see, yours should have wires leads that go to here. The top one is going to be your hot, the bottom one negative. You're going to know how to do. You can take a scissors or anything, clip the negative, and make sure you don't clip them at the same time, and then the positive, clip that one. Get them out of the way. Leave some wire on there so you can pull on it. Then what you're going to do is take your soldering iron and you're going to heat up on that solder and pull them wires out of there. Just pull slightly and they'll pull out of there when you're heating up the solder. It'll take a little bit. Once you got them wires on, you want to go ahead and you can start with the negative or positive. Just don't be taking off the other one. It's easier sometimes to start with the negative because you don't have to be as careful. Once you get over that positive, you don't want to be touching anything else. So let's go ahead and solder this into place. So some of the easiest is actually to leave the coating on, believe it or not. What we're going to do is set that right there on top. Make sure I can see what I'm doing there. And just ever so slightly heat that up. It's going to stink a little bit because you're melting that wire. And there you go on one. Let's get the other one. Now, I always will take tape. 2 layers normally of tape. And cover up this hot terminal now. You definitely do not want to be hitting that hot terminal. Try not getting in your way of what I'm doing here. Once you got that done, what we're going to do is go ahead and get that other one. I'm try to stay out of the camera view so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So it's going to stink a little bit because you are melting that plastic. Once you got that on, just go ahead and get that tape out of there. Make sure you don't have anything that's hitting, first of all, of course. Let's get that battery set in there. Like I said, this is a little oversized battery. You're gonna have one. And we have, not only these right now, we have a couple of them remaining, but we actually have smaller ones we had ordered for that are perfect size. They're available on our Etsy store. I'll leave a link below. Once you get that in there, now you can put some adhesive underneath there to hold that in place, or hot glue. Once you get that, you're just going to want to go ahead and snap on the back. You don't have to put anything in there. I never do. Once you get that back, snap back on, we're going to go ahead and put the 4 screws back in. 1, 2, 3, and 4. One thing to note is, if you have a small, any magnet, even a stronger one for the fridge, you can take and put your screwdriver on there, and you'll be able to lift these screws out so you don't lose them as easy. So let's go ahead and get those 4 screws back in, and now that you got those 4 screws in, let's go ahead and remove that tape. Let's put the additional 4 screws back in. You see how that magnetic then, and it really helps me out, that's for sure. So go ahead and put that back in. Now I have heard that people will put like a PlayStation 2 battery in these. It will work fine, it's right voltage. But the problem is you can't put it inside. It's just people using it so they can play their console. If you try putting that battery in, it's too thick. It'll crack your screen. I've heard of people doing that. Once you get the rest of the batteries, these screws back in, which I can just go here, and we'll fire this up. Oh, the SD card. And there it is, in full charge on the battery on this one. Usually they come close to half from what I've noticed before, so I doubt this is going to stay at full power as long. One thing I do want to note is on the Neo Geo, it is really finicky about charging the battery. So even if you have this micro USB and you plug it into most chargers, it just doesn't work. It won't charge your battery up. Sometimes it will keep it from going down, but it's not going to charge it up. You're going to have to plug it in this system and then it'll charge your battery. Anyways, if you need a battery, like I said, we have them available on our Etsy store, and by the time you're watching this video, probably we will have the perfect size for them. Like I said, these are just a little wider here, not much. Their thickness is perfect, which is the big key. Well, thank you for watching the video, and leave me a like if you want. If you have any questions, leave them below.